Masechta Bava basra, Daf Tzadik Zayin Amud Aleph is starting from the last line of Tzadik Bava Amud Beis Yosef. I'm just going to tell you over the whole Amud Gemara. So we learned the machlekes b'negeya to a wine that's about to sour, whether you make a beida pri agafen or shahakal mir b'debari. So the Gemara brings down also b'negeya to wine that's being diluted if it's considered wine. How much dilution is it considered as wine? So Rava said that any chamra, and everybody agrees to that if it's diluted from you take the sesame, the sediments, and you pour water on it, and if from the sediments comes out a quarter of it is wine, the normal ratio for dilution is 3 cups of water versus 1 cup of wine. But what's if you pour 3 cups of water and out comes back only 3 cups? Then we say it's water. It's all water.
You put in water and it comes back?
It comes back water. You put in 3 cups of water, you didn't get more back. If you got more back, you know it's wine. Now the shaila is if you put 3 cups of water and he gets back 3.5 cups. So do we say? So here we had a machlokes. What is that? Is it considered as a half a cup wine versus?
What did we say before? What was the share?
1 to 3. 3 cups of water. The quarter is going to be wine.
3 cups of wine.
Water, 1 cup of wine. Right. Here, what happened is he put 3 cups of water, and out came 3.5 cups. So that half a cup, if that half a cup of wine versus the 3 cups, that's 1 to 6. It would do it divided in half. It's water. But the other Mandama says no, that it's not. Who is it? Abbanim were arguing with Achedim. The Achedim know say it's not wine. You don't look at it as a half a cup is wine. You look at it, 2.5 was water, and 1 cup was wine. So it's a bigger ratio than 1 to 4. You're saying even if he poured 3 cups of water on the sediment of the wine, he puts on the seeds that it should have, when he puts on these seeds of the wine and it falls into a cup, there's a taste of wine. So let's say if it was 3 cups and a little bit more comes out of the cup, you said it's a machlokes if it comes out. If it comes 3.5 cups, the Rabbanan say, hey, it's only a half a cup. A half a cup versus 3 cups is 1 out of 6. It has to be a quarter, and here it's a 1/6, because a half a cup.
Losing money.
So it's water. It's water. It shouldn't be by a priagafen. It should be shakal niyavitvari, like you're gonna make now. It's also negated to Tumas and Mises, but soon gonna say. So, but over here, so you're saying even if it's a 3.5 cups, the Achedim will say if it's a half a cup, it's not the half a cup. We look at it that really it was a whole cup, a whole cup of the sediment of wine versus 2.5 cups of water.
What happened to the other cup of water?
He says it got absorbed.
In sediment. So what came out?
He got absorbed in sediments, and what came out was wine.
2.5 cups of wine.
1 cup of wine versus 2.5 cups of water. Says so. Really? There's an argument about it. You're saying that if it's a half a cup, the Achedim say you'll have it in like a full cup of wine and you'll make a better piragafen. It says hamatamid. Hamatamid. This is called temed. What we're talking about. That hamatamid is when you pour water on the sediments and it makes a taste of wine. That's called temed. The nasmayin b'mida. Let's say he gave water. A certain amount of water, and out came the exact same water that you put in. So then, potter, everybody agrees it's water. If it would have came out more than the water, right? We say here he's talking about the gates of the bracha. If he put it, so he says it's water. It never absorbed any water. It's the same water that went in came out. It's a charcoal. No, it's potter. Rabbi Yehuda says no. He's going to be chayiv to take off ma'isa because it's considered as wine.
Even
so
though it's the only realized
it's the exact. Even though it's the exact same measurements of what he put in water came out.
What does it
free.
taste like? What does it taste like?
It could taste like wine, but it's mostly water because there's a drop of sediment. Maybe it has a Zaki Mother from the Mishnah's mashma'at kan loy pligi. The whole machlekes was elabikadei mikdasei. If the exact same amount of water that he poured over these sediments, the same amount that came out on the bottom. It was exactly let's say 3 cups. That's how much water, that's how much cups came out, 3 cups again. So we'll say that's where the machlekes was.
It's good or no good?
So that the Rabbanan say it's mamish water, it's the same 3 cups. And Rabbi Yehuda will say it's wine. But does say, but if it was more, if it came out 3.5 cups, everybody would agree it's for sure wine.
It's already wine.
Because there's extra liquid that came out.
It drew out from the sediment, the
From
wine.
wine, yeah. So, but the shaila, this is misstated to what we said before, to the words of Bava, because according to the Chachamim, even if you found that drop more, it's still considered
Like wine.
water. No, according to the Chachamim, even if it's a half a cup that came out,
Still water?
it's still water. We said before. The other said it has to be a quarter of wine versus 3 cups. If it's 3 cups of water, it has to be a full cup of wine. And here was only
You have to have
3.5
4
cups.
You have to have 4 cups coming out.
You have to have 4 cups coming out. So you really who I didn't after the way you say really the machlekes was that even if it was a half a cup coming out, there's still a machlekes the Chacham will hold as it didn't like water. Why do you say the machlekes by the case where the 3 waters went in and 3 waters came out?
It's good.
So you want to lay the Rabbi Yehuda to let you know the strength of Rabbi Yehuda. That Rabbi Yehuda says that even if that it's considered as water, even if more than 3 cups came out, even though another half a cup came out, so I should say it's wine. Rabbi Yehuda says it's still going to be water. And why did we want to bring out? Usually, you want to tell the koyach of heta is more of a chiddush. Why over here you come to tell me that?
Why is it water?
He says because it's a majority. It's a half a cup versus
The majority is water.
3 cups is 1 out of 6, because you divide halves.
But if
You have
3
6
to 1,
halves.
it's okay. 1
3 and 1 is
Why is that good?
because that's the ratio that they said is wine.
That's what they agreed upon.
Yes. So now the Rashbam is usually the koich of heta is more of a chiddush, and here you're coming to tell me the koich of chumra that we said dafka the machlekes. If it was 3 waters that went in and 3 waters that came out, that's where you want to tell me that it's still water. I mean, the chiddush would have been
Should be wine.
that it should you should have said the chiddush b'nagayet to the koich heta that it's 3.5. And you're coming to tell you that even though it was only a half a cup, it's still going to be a din of
Water.
wine.
It's still wine?
The heta.
Oh, the heta.
No, the heta. He's saying you're coming to that. Here, I'm going to read it over here. It should have been the chiddush of the one that's being mata. Here he wants to tell you the chumrah of Rabbi Yehuda.
That is also.
That even when it's Kedei Medasa, even though it's coming out exactly the same 3 that when it came out, it's still wine, and you're mechuyev to take off Maisa. Why? Hatam lakach is
He's machman, no?
machmer. Rabbi Yehuda is machmer. But the chiddush is always when you want to emphasize is that you want to notify everybody about the koyach of heta. The kunz is nicht machmer sein, the kunz is mata sein. So he says here there wouldn't have been a chiddush of heta, because what? If you would have had, let's say, 3.5 cups, but it's bottle, it's 1 out of 6, so everybody knows that everybody knows the eating from bottle that it's bottle to heta. The chiddush is you put in 3 cups of water, only 3 cups of water came out, and you still say it's wine, and you're mechuyev. That's the chiddush. That's why he used that. Okay, so you might have been made Rav Nachman Rav Yitzchak, Rav Nachman Rav Yitzchak is the shayla from Rav Rabbanan. Shmarim is the sediments on the bottom of the wine.
The pieces.
Yes, the pieces. Sheish b'em time niyayim. They have a taste of wine. Well, what's the din? Linya bracha. This is the same shaila that we spoke about, the acherim and the rabbanan. So the Rashbam says, what's his shaila?
But
What's
here
the...
there's surely wine.
Huh?
The shmorim, they surely use wine.
Yeah, but the shmarim, there was no liquid. He poured
So
3
the
cups.
pieces, the pieces.
It's the same exact shaila. Here we're
What's the
talking
difference,
about...
Shiloh? If you go mamish to the sediment where the wine is.
We're talking about, this is all talking about pouring the water on the sediments
Yeah.
and what comes out after.
That was
So that was a chatchila the shaila. If 3.5 cups came out, you poured in 3 cups, and 3.5 cups came out. We learned, according to the Rabbanan, it's going to have a din like water because it's bottle. It's 1 out of 6, and according to the Achenim, it's still wine. So what was the shaila? What was he asking? So the Rashbam says he obviously didn't know. He never heard this machlekes Because if he heard the machlokes, he would ask, who is the halacha like? Here, it says, befeidish over here. Butter who, says the Rashbam, it's a short thing, loy shames habaraisa. And you had the baraisa that says, this is, we just learned this case. So why did he ask this shaila? Elishmami, no, so for sure he didn't hear it. Because if he would have heard it, he would have asked, that would have been a shaila.
How can you say sometimes sediment has wine and sometimes sediment doesn't have wine?
If you pour it in and more comes out, then we say there was wine that came out. Because you only put in 3 cups of water and out came more.
Could have wine, it could have not have
It
wine.
could have 0. Right. So it could be, it's only water.
Depends what kind of,
With sediments it is. If it's juicy and it has, and you pour water and it starts leaking out
That's how
more.
we know how many cups came out.
Yep. Okay, anyway, he's saying this shaila that if it had a tam yayin, when he poured 3 cups and out came 3.5 cups, so he was asking what's the din in such a case. We just learned it's a machlekes between the Rabbanan and the Achenim. So the Rashbam says he obviously didn't hear this. This machlekes. If he would have heard the machlekes, he would have asked, who's the halacha like? Like the Chachamim that consider it as water, or like the Achenim that say, no, it's still wine? I talked to your mother. So then, do you think this mashke is considered as wine? It's just a little. It's a drink. It's a knockoff, but it's not real wine.
It's grape juice.
He doesn't call it grape juice, but it's not a wine. He says it's a kiyua. Look, he says it's a knockoff from the shmarim. It's not, the shmarim are not wine. It's like water. It's used out. It's water that. So you have a remnants of a taste of wine in it, but it's water. So he says it should be shayim.
And you get out 1 cup, it's your wine.
Not according to him. He says it's just it's a knockoff. It's just, it's water that has a taste of wine. Zaki, you want to tell me about you learned? Shmarim shal truma. If it was shmarim, sediments, which was part of a truma. Rish Mesheni, if he poured water, let's say 3 cups once, and out came the 4th cup, half a cup of wine, and then he did it a second time, Mesheni. So he says, also, it has mamsha din like truma. It's still truma. It's still wine. Ushlishi, but the 3rd time when you pour the 3 cups, another half a cup comes out. Then he says mutas. It's already not wine.
Talking about half cups coming out all the time.
3.5 cups. That's how he's learning so far. I don't see that he changed the.
He's young with the house too, but more than that,
More the 3rd time that he pours it, it's not truma.
Doesn't matter how much comes out, right?
Right. Rabbi Meir says afashlishi. Even the 3rd time, if he pours it off and more cups come out, if it still has a taste of wine, it's still going to be aser. It's still truma. Now we're going to talk about Maisa. Maisa says, Rishain, the first time that you pour the 3 cups and out comes 3.5 cups, it's of the Asa, it's Maisa Sheni, and you're not allowed to drink it outside of Yerushalayim, and it's Mamash Hadino Maisa Sheni. Sheni, if you did it a 2nd time, you poured the 3 cups and out came 3.5 cups, Mutter, then it's mutter to drink it outside Yerushalayim. It's not Maisa. Rav Meir kommt Rav Meir und sagt, Sheni, if it was the 2nd time they poured the 3 cups of water and now it came 3.5, but sometime if it has a taste of wine, then he says it's going to be usher. It's going to have a din Maisa Sheni, and you're not allowed to drink it outside Yerushalayim. V'shel Hegdish. What's if the Shmarim would belong to Hegdish? So you want to Shlishi is considered as Hegdish also. The usher. It's forbidden to have anah. It's mamish hektish. Or the V, but if it's the 4th time that you pour the water and out comes 3.5 cups, mutter, then it's mutter by anah. By hektish is more chamay. Correct. Yeah, it's a chomer by hektish. Rav Meir says after V, even the 4th time when you pour 3 waters and a half a cup comes out, it's going to be asa. It's hektish. Asa by anah. But nice and tam if it has a taste of water. What do you mean? In fact, you got akasha. I have a stida. It on hektish and maisa from the brisa. It says shal hektish le'ila masa. By hektish, it's always asa. No matter how many times you pour, it's always asa. And here we said the Tanakhama said shlishi. By the 3rd time, it's shemuta. V'shal maisa it says le'ila muta. And here we learned by maiser. V'shal maisa it says le'ila muta. We have a stira because we said by maisa rishim sheni is asur. So, you want to Shlishi, is considered as hektish also. The usher, it's forbidden to have anah. It's mamish hektish. It's mamish hektish. Kasha hektish
What
hektish.
about mice?
That was the
Why you make so much by mice?
mice is the most lenient, but Bepel Mamish,
Okay,
the
so
Tana,
what is
yeah,
it?
but the Tanakama said before in the previous brisa, Rishon Sheni has a din like Maisa, so it's a stira. It's a stira from hektish and hektish and from Maisa and Maisa. Kasha hektish and hektish, kasha Maisa and Maisa. Hektish here you said loy
What do you mean, so
lamasa.
mice, loilamos, mutter? When is-
No, even the first time you pour 3 cups over it and the half a cup comes out extra. Before we said Rishon Sheni, the first time you do it and the second time you do it, it's a din of Maisa.
And here he says,
Here he says it's mutter from the beginning.
no problem. Okay.
So it's a stira. And the hektish is a stira. He said loy lamasa, and here we said after the third time.
3-4 times.
By the third time, only by the fourth time, it's considered as mutter. I mean, you want a hektish like kasha. First of all, I want to tell you, it's 2 separate cases. Hektish not kasha. Kam migdush zaguf. Here, it's talking about shmanim that was part of the nesachim. There was like they had wine that they were supposed to do libation on the mizbeah. So these sediments were part of the nesachim. So that's mamish. It's called guf. That's at the highest level of kachim. So then it has a din as hektish
everything.
all the way to the end, no matter how many times you pour water. Can, but in the first price, so we said after the 4th time, it's mutter, is b'kedushas damim. It's not talking about that it was part of the nesachim that you were pouring the wine on the mizbeach. It was wine, and he was going to take from the money that he sells this wine for the kedushas of Bedek Beis Hamikdash, Bedek Habayis. And so something dvarim shehugdashu letzerich zeh kedushasam bedage pchus azay steht in the Rashbam. It's on a lower level than the dvarim shehem atzmam krevim, than something that's guf. That's something that's it's part of the nisachim for the mizbeach. It's on a lower level, something that's for kedushas bedek habayis. That's why after the 4th time it's going to be mutter. Maisa, not like kasha. Maisa is not lishkin kasha. Kan in the first price where you machmem more, and you said the first 2 times it's usher. It has a din like Maisa, but Maisa vada. It's talking about it's a 100% Maisa. Kan in the second price where we said that it's loyla mutter, but Maisa demai is Maisa from Amoritz. So the din is by Amoritz.
He doesn't know.
No, so the payers that were bought for Hamaretz were chashudim. The chashudim are maises. Maybe they didn't take off maises. So Yechim Kohen Gadol was masakin that those that buy payers from them take off maises again. But it's only with the Rabbanan. It's not because Mistama they did take off maises. So since it's with the Rabbanan, so they were lenient and said lo'ila muta. That's going to be. But when we say it's also the first 2 times, that's by Maisa Vade. Just like they said the dinim of Temet are the lees, the sediments where you pour the water over it, right? So we said the same dinim of Isurim that it has a din like wine, if it comes out a half a cup more, according to the Acherim. So they said, B'negeya to Hechsher, Hechsher means that if something became tummy from a shratzim, but those things that become tummy from shratzim has to be first mukhshel l'kabatuma. How does something become mukhshel l'kabatuma? So there has to be from the 7 liquids. So it has to be from the part of the 7 liquids are yayin. I don't know if he brings it down here, but it's a part of the 7 liquids is wine. Let me see if he brings it down. Which are the 7 liquids? I think it's mayim, tal, shemen, yayin, dam, dvash. Okay, so it's we're talking about dvash from bees. Those are liquids. If it first touched something and then a sheretz falls on it, so that those liquids, those 7 liquids becomes mushal kabatum. So he says that this temet that you poured on water on it has a din like wine, and if it touched something that was dry became mushal kabatuma. It's considered as wine touched it. In fact, you want to hachshen in the mind. What are you talking about? How, the geya, which hashav will be kabatuma? What are we talking about? Either my achshurim achshiri. If it was considered as water, it's it's still going to be Mushal Kabal Tuma. What do you tell me? As a din, as a wine. It's as a din, as water, it's also Mushal Kabal Tuma. Either Chamra, Achshan Mashu. What's the chilik? If it's Nashak Mayim, Nashak Yaim, what's Akshmi China? Oh, it's considered as wine, and now it's Mushal Kabal Tuma. And if it's considered as Mayim, as Nish, Mayim is also Mushal Kabal Tuma. And you want to like Tzicha Shatim the Beik Shaman. In the Torah it says Ki Yutan. You read it Yutan as if there's above, but it's written Yitan without above. Yitan means that you'll put it on it. Yutan means that it came on itself. So how do we learn it? It's written Yutan, and you can read it Yitan. So it says it has to be similar to Yitan. Just like Yitan, when you put on it, it's merutza, you want it. So too, when it falls, the water falls by itself, it has to be that you wanted it. It will have to be merutza. So he's saying by make shamim, if it's not nichalei, then it's not going to be mushal kabel tuma. So here we're saying that by what happened here, the make shamim fell into a shisel, and he the make shamim fell into the sediments, let's say, or fell into a shisel, and he threw the sediments in it, but the water he never showed that he was nichalei, so it's not. It wasn't this water. He never showed that he wanted this water when the water came, so it wasn't mushal kabel tuma. Because it wasn't with the machshava to use that water. Frankly, what are you talking about? We're keeping the shaka with amalul mana. Since he took the water of the rainwater and he poured it into the kli where there was the sediments, right? He took rainwater. Yeah, he didn't show that it's nichalei, but then when he put it into the sediments, he showed that he wants it. So it's nichalei. Achshavino. It's considered that he wants to make shamim. Because he shows that he wants it, says you want to know like it's talking about now, not that he took a shisel from the rainwater and poured it on the sediments. He had a keli with sediments, and water fell on it. So he never showed that he wants it. So mitzad mayim, it's not mayim, that's marshal kabel tuma, because he didn't show nichalei. Mitzad wine, it's wine. It is wine. And wine is always nichalei. But wine, forget about nichalei. It's not totally nichalei or not. If it's wine makes it mushal kabel tuma. In fact, you want to keep in the nugget kama. In fact, you want to good that the water. You're right. To make shaman fell on it. But you said what was the case? It would happen once, and then he did it again. So obviously, what's going through his mind? He emptied it out, and he then let another water come in on the sediments. So it shows that he's happy with the water. Achshavino, frankly, mother, after he took the make shamim, the first make shamim out to use it, obviously he was happy with it. He emptied out, and he wanted more make shamim to come in. He sees that it's coming in wine. Achshavino, so but he shows that he's happy with the water. So if he's happy with the water, so it's not water itself, it's mashal kabel tuma. So what's the difference if it's wine or water? Our Papa said no, he didn't empty it out. The Porah, he says, he drank out the whole thing. So it's not like he emptied it out and the water came on its own. So mitzad water, it's not mashal kabel tuma. He never showed nichalei. But mitzad wine is, even if he doesn't show it's nichalei, it's mashal kabel tuma. The Porah drinks anything. Yeah, Porah is a Porah. Behem is a behem. Yeah. Amar Avzuta, Bar Tuvia Amar Rav. Here we're going to learn a new halacha. You cannot make kiddush on stama wine. It has to be wine that's azay choshev, that they can use it for nesicha, for the nesachim on the mizbeach. Kiddush hayoim, the kiddush of day.
That night you make a mashke.
In fact, you might have lemiyutimai. What kind of category are we excluding that you can make a bayra priya gafen, but you cannot use it for kiddush? Which one is it? So if you're going to tell me you right away when you press the grapes, and that's the bracha you're making bayra priya gafen, that's grape juice. So that's grape juice. You're right. Don't use grape juice for nesachim, but if you brought it already kosher, it's going to be kosher. So you want to keep the heavy kosher. Once you said b'diavad, you're allowed to bring nesachim from grape juice. So kiddush hayoim, which is on a much lower level than nesachim, for sure should be good with grape juice. B'diavad by nesachim, if it's good, For sure, for Kiddush Hayom, which is on a much lower level, it should be l'chatchila good. So the Rabbi says, he's bringing you a raya that grape juice is good for Kiddush Hayom. A person could squeeze out the cluster of grapes on before Shabbos. Before Shabbos. Right? I love Kiddush Hayom, and he says Kiddush Hayom. So you have a raya befedish that you can make Kiddush Hayom on grape juice. Says Gemara. So which wine are we excluding that you make by the Piyah Kafan?
What kind of wine is considered?
Oh, so we're going to talk about it in a second. Wait, yeah, very good. So it says, well, which wine we make a Beit Piyah Kafan, but you cannot use it for Kiddush Hayom. Which one is it? He says we're excluding, on top of the barrel, when you open the barrel, there's like kmach and white, like flourish. It looks a little moldy. Yeah. And the bottom of the barrel is full of sediments. So maybe that's what he's excluding, that even though you make a Beit Piyah Kafan, but you can't use it for Kiddush Hayom. So what are you talking about? Well, they learned in the Braisa, wine mepiu mishula from the top, or wine from the top or from the bottom. Lo yavi, don't bring it from the sachim. But if you brought it for the mizbeach from the sachim, kosher, it's kosher. So if it's good for the sachim, it's good for sure for Kiddush Hayom. Says kushi. It's coming to exclude black wine. Yeah. That once it turns black, it's already weaker. Or beirek, or it's white wine, it's also weaker. Or hil yoistan. Hil yoistan is that it's wine that is very sweet. Like zaken wine.
Malaga.
I don't know. Malaria.
Malaga.
Malaga. I'm saying the zaken wine is the 3%. Yoistan. So, or shalmarta. If you remember, we learned in the cellar, when you buy 100 barrels of wine, so 10 of them could be sour, beginning to become sour. It tastes like wine, but it smells like vinegar. So that you can. Here comes yours, shel simukim, wine from Russian kids, from raisins. So those are the ones that we're excluding because they're not good wine. But you make a bit of piyah. In fact, what are you talking about? All of these don't lechatchila bring it as a nesachim for the mizbeach, but in heavy. But if you brought any of these wines onto the mizbeach kosher, it's going to be kosher. So if the evidence kosher from the sachim for Kiddush Hayom lechatchila, it should be mutter. So which one is he excluding? It's not. No, it is considered. It is a chashav wine for the sachim with the evidence of them for Kiddush Hayom for sure. Well, rather it's coming to exclude like this: yayin koises, wine that started to become sour. Meaning it tastes like wine, but you smell the sourness. Mazuk means it was diluted with a lot of water. No, diluted with water. It's 1 to 4.
It's more water than wine?
No. It's 1 to a quarter. It's good wine, but when I get you to the Nesachim in the Beis Hamikdash, we have a pasuk. It has to be raw wine. You can't dilute it. You can't dilute it with water. And then megula. Megula means that the barrel is open, and if it's open, it's a sakana, because the snakes in the olden times, if you left these barrels open, snakes would drink, but they would leave echte poison.
The snakes were out.
The gift.
Huh?
The poison.
They would leave eris. They would leave poison. So it was a sakana. V'shal shmarim.
And they were shaking
so you were chancing it. V'shal shmarim. And then he says temet. The shmarim is the temet is the sediments that you poured water over it. V'sherei or the wine was a bad smell. Okay. Yeah. Here it means it tastes good. It smells like wine, but it was in a disgusting barrel, and the barrel gave off a bad smell. The Tanya that we learned in the Braisa, but there we said it's possible. So these are the ones, the exclusions. In fact, let's go through each one that you said are not good for Kiddush Hayom, because you can't use it for the Sachin. Which wine were you coming to exclude? If you're coming to exclude wine that started to become sour, look at Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. It's a machlekes between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Wait, so Rabbi Yochanan says, if it tastes like wine, I don't care if it smells like vinegar, it's 100% wine, and you can use it even from the sachim. So you can't say it's going according to Rabbi Yochanan. And if it's going according to Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi says, We don't go by the taste, we go by the smell. If it smells like vinegar, it's water. It's shahakal. And we're looking for a wine that you make by the priya gofen, but you cannot use it for Kiddush Hayom. So it can't be this case. Even if it's coming to exclude diluted wine, aluye alye, for the Gemara. So with what did he dilute it with? Water. So right. So if he diluted it with water, he made the wine better for Kiddush. You're right. For Nesachim, you can't use it because the Torah says it has to be strong, pure wine. But by Kiddush, we faket. It's better to have it diluted. But the sugar better if you took the strong wine.
We're
Drunk, and it's very hard to drink it. It's not even tasteful. So if you want to, where do we see that? It's mashbiach the wine. If you dilute it to 1 to 4. The Chacham were made of Rabbi Lazar by the great Krish Brach by Birs Hamazon, which is Midaisa. You can't make you have to dilute that wine that you're going to make the Krish Bracha of Birs Hamazon. So you see that there's an Indian to when it comes to dilute it. So it says Gemara, so which one are we referring to? And if it's coming to exclude a wine that it was uncovered, sakana, he says Gemara, it's sakana because of the snake, the poison of the snakes. And if it's coming to exclude the sediments that were mixed with water, how is the case talking about? Either if it's talking about he poured 3 cups of water and out came 4 cups, it's a pure wine. Either if he poured 3 and only 3.5 came, then it said and if it's considered as wine or not, and the halach is like the abundant, it's considered as water. So it's not one of the cases that we could exclude because we're excluding something that you make a better priya gofen. In such a case, according to the abundant, the halach is like them that you don't make a better priya gofen, you make a shahakal. So it's not one of the cases that you make by the priya gofen, but it's excluded from Kiddush Hayom. That's not the case. Says he was excluding a case where the smell was bad. So he says, so that's the wine. For sure, it smells like wine, it tastes like wine, but the smell from the barrel is bad. You know, they make the smoked mashka. How did they do it? They take the same Glenlivet, but you have smoke Glenlivet. How? Because the barrel gives that smoky smell. But the mashka, you taste it tastes like Glenlivet. It smells. It has a little bit of smell, so you taste it a little bit.
Barbecue.
Yeah. Anybody say me if you want. He's coming to exclude a wine barrel that was uncovered, and we have to worry about the snakes. He says, Rabbi Nechemia says there's a way to take out the eris because the eris goes to the top, and you take a sieve, and it takes out the whole eris.
You talk about the poison?
The poison. You could take out the whole poison with a sieve because the poison goes to the top. Says the Gemara, nevertheless, even if you take it out, you don't give such wine for nesachim, and you cannot make the bracha.
It's not holy.
Yeah, he says, will you bring such a thing to your sar, to your officer, to your king? You think he'll take you in nicely when he knows that I'm giving you great wine. I just have to take out the poison for you. Let me take it out, and then here's your barrel. Tomorrow, pack in the cup. We would have had shorter. That you can't make Kiddush Hayom. Good. Maybe not Rav Kahana Chamud Rav Mishashia. Rav Kahana, the shver of Rav Mishashia is made up from Rav Chamar Chivarion, white wine. Well, what's the din? Because that's very inferior wine. It's not good wine. White wine in those times was considered a low level. Amalei, so he said.
Use muscat wine. Muscat is white.
Yeah, but he says it's shvacha wine. Amalei Rava says, Al Teda Yain Kisadam. From this pasuk we learn out that Chatchila don't bring white wine because the wine that the Torah was warning those people shouldn't drink the red wine because it's mishtaker and it makes you want to drink more. So it seemed like Yayim Edom was the strongest wine. So l'chatchili you should use the red wine for nesachim. But yeah, if you brought
Yeah,
white
yeah,
wine,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
fine.
Some people, for $1, they also want to have only wine, not grape juice.
Right. Yeah. But they take a lighter wine.
Huh?
Yeah, they take a lighter wine. That's such a strong wine.
You mix wine in with the grape juice.
No, I don't know. Kankanim b'shodei.
People-
We learned those the kegs that were in the region called Shodei. So there, if he got 100 barrels, 10 of them he had to accept that was shvacha barrels. Tana pitase. So we learned those. He accepted 10 bad. What? What does it mean 10 bad? So he says noise and it doesn't mean it was cracked. If it was cracked for sure, he doesn't have to accept it. It's a makach. It's talking about it was cracked, but the guy before he put in the wine, he sealed the cracks. He patched it up with sulfur, but it wouldn't last for a long time. So that he accepts to have 10 of those barrels. We'll stop over here.
As long as it doesn't